So we've received the survey results for the annual Tevilo Communication Engagement Survey, and hey, we had good turnout. We had 85% of our employees fill it out, and it just asked employees to look at these 30 top communication-related issues affecting American workplaces, and our employees were to identify the top 3 that they think are problem areas for us at Tevilo. Since we're all about continuous improvement, we'll do just like we did last year. We'll take those top 3, give them to our consultants, and then they're going to form some recommendations that they send back to us. But first, they ask us as a leadership team to look through the survey results and give them some of our feedback that will help them. So I gave all of you copies of the survey, asked you to write some notes that you can look off of today. And I asked HR Director Asia if she would lead this meeting and take some notes.
Okay. Well, thanks, Jay. So the top 3 professional communication issues this year include: first, how to maximize communication within our hybrid workplace; second, how to implement DEIA strategies; and third, how to implement AI to improve our professional communication in the workplace as well. So let's just start with the first one, which is maximizing communication in a hybrid workplace. So our current policy makes remote work available to employees if they have been working on site for at least 1 year, and then they also have to commit to quarterly on-site meetings. So 50% of our employees do work remotely, so we do qualify as a hybrid workplace.
Okay, but why is this even a communication related issue?
So what I'm hearing from our employees is that people feel less connected to Tevilo when they aren't working physically at our on-site location.
Asia, if I could interject here, as someone, I fully work remote, and I can completely relate to what you were just saying. I love working remote, but, and don't get me wrong, but I do feel less connected to what's going on in the office. I believe that those of us who work remote are usually the last to find out. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind mentality back at the office regarding the remote employees. It always happens with social things. I see pictures and messages posted about office lunches, birthdays, any other kind of celebration. And I feel a little bit on the outside, kind of looking in. Our virtual meetings are productive, but sometimes, like right now, for example, it feels a little like you're all having this real meeting there in person, and Erica and I are just kind of watching it from our screens. Now, Erica, I don't know if you can relate to this or not.
Yeah, I can to an extent. I mean, our weekly leadership meetings are helpful, but I feel like when I was in the office every day, I did have a better grasp of what was going on. I mean, it was great being able to bounce ideas back and forth. We can just talk about our day with each other, just, really quick, informal conversations, small talk, really. And, being in different time zones is always a challenge for scheduling meetings.
So some of our on-site employees do feel that they're more scrutinized because they are physically at our work location, that they have to take on extra work just because they're there. So they also feel as though, excuse me, since they are seen, that they have to be forced to do that extra work, whereas remote employees, they get away with not doing it. Also, for employees who do work at our on-site locations, they also feel more scrutinized for being late to work. So if they're 15 to 20 minutes late to work, we all can see them walking through the door after they're supposed to be there. Whereas remote work, if I'm 15 to 20 minutes late on my laptop, you have no idea. So it's just really an accountability issue.
Yeah, but I really wish we could hire fully remote more often or made it easier. When we hire only local, we limit our candidate pool. We could expand our services more easily if we could hire learning training consultants from internationally or even nationally. For example, let me look at my notes here. There's a growing demand for training in Chinese and Arabic language and culture. There's some highly qualified experts out there, but they're not interested in moving here if they have to, commute part-time. They can't just work a few days a week and then commute here periodically. It doesn't work for them.
I get that, but before we get rid of our lease and just go fully remote, I'm a little concerned, that maybe this hybrid thing is just an experiment that frankly isn't working that well at all organizations. I don't want Tevilo to just be chasing the latest fad, and in the result, kind of risk losing some of the good stuff we have. I think the jury is still out on the whole hybrid thing. And frankly, I think it's more about staffing and accountability than it is about communication.
Okay, so that's helpful feedback for that survey issue. So let's just move on to the second issue, which is adopting DEIA strategies to enhance our communication in the workplace.
Okay, diversity, equity, inclusion. I get that, but what's the A?
So the A stands for accessibility. So just making our workplace more accessible for all of our employees.
Elevators, wheelchair ramps, accessible bathrooms. We got all that.
Yes, we do have all of those things, but as well as that's good, DEIA strategies refer to not just structural things, but rather practices and strategies that make employees feel more a sense of community within the workplace. So the role of professional communication and DEIA goals is to achieve training and education to inform employees more about diversity and inclusion in the workplace.
So what are ERGs?
So ERGs, I'm sorry about that. ERGs are employee reference groups. So they're also known as employee affinity groups. So those groups, they kind of give, like I said before, employees a sense of community in the workplace. So they're more based on gender, ethnicity, race. They just make sure that employees feel a sense of community that has something to do with their various backgrounds and experiences in life.
Okay, those sound a little bit like cliques to me, which by nature are exclusive rather than inclusive. I'm not sure how that's really fostering community.
I can see why it might seem like that on the surface, but that's not how they work. Look, at Tevilo, as we continue to expand, we can attract a greater diversity of employees, which would expand our portfolio of professional development services. It's tough to attract a diverse staff unless they really know they'll fit in and form meaningful connections with others beyond just work.
That's right, Rochelle. So today's workforce, people want more of a meaningful connection to their companies. They don't just want to be working for a company to fulfill a corporate mission. They don't just want to work just for a paycheck. So with DEIA strategies, it helps us to recruit a diverse workforce, but also to retain that diverse workforce as well.
Well, that's a bit funny because Tevilo creates corporate trainings on things like mentoring, appreciating culture, and building team connections, but our own employees feel like we're not hitting the mark there. What's that phrase? Do as I say, not as I do.
Okay, that's not fair. We have non-discriminatory hiring practices, and we go the extra mile to recruit minorities.
Yes, we do, but it's really hard to attract diverse employees in the first place. So we need concrete practices to make sure that our employees feel a sense of community when they come to work, not just have a bunch of words on a piece of paper.
We do this in our marketing. My team knows all our marketing and employment recruitment materials. They've got to reflect diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, but we still have to make sure the employees actually have that experience when they come to work.
Okay, but at some point, it doesn't feel like communication to me. It feels a little bit more like political correctness and checking the right boxes.
Well, it can be if that's our only reason for adopting DEIA strategies. But if we can figure out how to effectively communicate as a hybrid team, we can attract a much more diverse team, finding the best and brightest from anywhere in the nation.
Okay, so all of that is helpful. So let's move on to our third item. So our third item communication issue identified by our employees here at Tevilo is the use of AI or artificial intelligence to improve our professional communication.
I don't know if everyone knows it or not, but we already use AI every day on our website with our chatbot for customer service. When potential clients have questions about our services or their accounts, most of their initial questions are answered by AI before our actual customer service staff gets involved.
Yeah, and we also use AI with training event registration and to send follow up information. Our tutors use AI chatbots to help clients schedule academic tutoring sessions. Didn't we even use AI to administer and send reminders for our survey?
I think so, but those are more so administration functions, not professional communication, right?
Right, but I'm guessing this topic was one that several from my team ranked high. They spend an enormous amount of time writing reports and training materials for our corporate clients. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. What I heard from them is that they could cut hours and hours of time if they were allowed to use AI tools to generate training scripts and to write business reports and recommendations, but based on the prompts that we provide in the form of data and research.
My team has even experimented with AI video generating platforms. You just write the script or have the AI write the script and then choose the avatar that you want to deliver it. Speaking of DEIA strategies, you can choose the age, the gender, the ethnicity, even the language of the speaker, and within seconds, it'll generate your completed video with that person, or what they call an avatar, delivering the training. No expensive video production or editing process involved.
Yeah, I mean, my team spends so much time drafting with the content for social media accounts when AI can literally generate it within seconds, literally seconds. For example, I could spend 8 hours doing research to write a 300-word LinkedIn article on tips for, handling workplace stress, for example. Or I could ask an AI program and it's free. And honestly, I really doubt anybody's going to know the difference.
But that's where I draw the line. At Tevilo, we're all about creating learning solutions for human learning. If we use artificial intelligence to create articles in trainings, well, then where's the academic integrity in that? I don't see, how is that not cheating?
Is it cheating to use TurboTax to do your taxes, or a calculator for that matter, instead of doing the math in your head or on pencil and paper?
Totally different. With a calculator, I'm just using it to arrive at the identical solution, just faster. So if I'm using artificial intelligence, I'm creating things that are completely different than what my brain would have come up with. So when we're using artificial intelligence for our professional communication, it just feels disingenuous.
But if our people are still the ones writing the prompts for the AI, aren't they just using a tool to produce something that is still essentially their own creation? I mean, instead of markers and paper, we use graphic design software to save time and money. If AI can reduce employee research and writing time, it could also save time and money and free up our people to focus on things AI can't do, like giving more direct attention to our clients.
Well, I agree, Erica. So all of that sounds good. So I guess I'll just have to hand this over, all of my notes, to the consultants and see what recommendations they give us.
Yep. And let's do that. But I want to be clear. I don't care what the consultants come back and say if it's going to not be in the best interest of Tevilo. I think we've got really good communication here. I think we've got a strong culture. I don't want to risk harming our corporate identity that we've worked so hard to achieve. Is it Henry Ford who said, "We don't make changes just for the sake of making changes"?
But that's not the end of that quote, though, is it? So didn't he also say that we need to make changes if our new ways are better than our old ones? I guess I'll just have to give this over to our consultants and see what they give us as a recommendation.